What's up, dogs? Groovy Grass here. And today, we're going to be starting a new series where I look at some albums that are important to, doom metal, stoner metal, desert rock, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Weed music, weed rock, right? And today, we're looking at Black Sabbath's Volume 4. So before we get into it, you might be asking yourself,
but Groovy, why not do the first Black Sabbath album?
Because I don't want to. And it's my channel. No, but seriously, obviously, arguably metal and definitely Black Sabbath wouldn't exist without the first Black Sabbath record. But Volume 4 is just as important to the genre. It set the tone for the guitar tone of the genre going forward. And I mean, not everybody uses a similar tone, but I would say most doom metal bands, especially modern ones, have more similar tone to Volume 4 than anything else. And just the mixing and mastering and the general production of that album really, really is a benchmark for the genres. Let's look at some history, shall we? Volume 4 was recorded throughout 1972 after a grueling tour with over half of the band contracting the flu. After a short break and recording some demos in England, the band headed to the United States, specifically war criminal John DuPont's mansion, where they would record the rest of the album. And the end product is a nearly perfect album that gets you looking like Bobby Liebling when you play it loud enough. Seriously, Volume 4 really is a pioneering record. Its guitar tone paved the way for a whole generation of guitarists. Some people, myself included, would call Volume 4 the origin of the brown sound. Speaking of sounds that are brown, hail Boognish. Now that we've talked about the history stuff, I just want to talk a little bit more about the album before, I show off some riffs and I show off some tones. I mean, Volume 4 is a nearly non-stop sonic assault of crushing guitar, of eddying bass, brutal drums, and misanthropic yet energetic vocal stylings. The unstoppable force of that album is balanced out by some softer tracks, namely Changes and Laguna Sunrise. And of course there's also effects, but we don't really talk about effects on this channel. Black Sabbath does that a lot. They'll have a really crushing record, but they'll break it up, usually at the end of the first third and the start of the last third, with some, nice, hippie, nice, sort of calm music. And I love that tactic, personally. It really, really helps the dynamic of the album. When you have an album that's just all the way through, it just kind of makes me bored, kind of type of shit, As far as I'm concerned, Volume 4 is the masterclass on how to record, mix, master, produce, and compose an album. Seriously, as far as I am concerned, it is a perfect album. And I do not give out that praise remotely lightly. All in all, I think this album is
fucking spot on, Donnie.
So, I just wanted to take a minute to, unscripted, really tell you guys how much I love this album. I mean, I can think of maybe 5 or so more albums that I consider more important to me musically. This is just kind of like what unlocked the key. Like, this is what made me like Black Sabbath, right? I liked Paranoid, I love Master of Reality, but this album right here, Volume 4, is what really sort of set me on the journey of trying to sound and play like Tony Iommi, right? And I mean, Lord knows Tony Iommi has more influence on me than probably my own father, right? So, kind of a big deal. This is what got me tone chasing. This is what got me sort of liking that raw, sort of just punchy, heady, sort of attack guitar sound, right? The high treble, high mids, not really much bass. Just the, I really, really fucking love this album. I mean, it's got some of my favorite album art of all time. It's one of my favorite, actual, gatefolds of all time, because, You got the freaking Black Sabbath storybook. That's about all you need to. That's about all you need to know about that band, really. Yeah, no, this album is a wonderful monument to 70s counterculture, metal production, cocaine. It's just a phenomenal fucking record, and you should check it out. All right, now with all that history and wonderful stuff out of the way, I'm going to showcase some beautiful riffs and some beautiful tones from the album. I won't be able to replicate them exactly because I am not Tony Iommi in the 1970s, and I'm not using, the only thing I'm using really similar is my guitar, and that's really only similar in the fact that it has it's the same shape, and it has a P90 in the neck. Other than that, my gear similarities with Tony Iommi in the 70s, unfortunately, stops and ends there. And also, just for fun, we're going to be doing tones with a real amp and with VSTs. And, you know, this isn't a video like, oh, look at how much better this is compared to that one. It's literally just for the variety. Just to show off that you can get something close with either one. Without further ado, it's time to doom. Alright, dogs, those were the VST sounds, if you couldn't tell, and now you're going to hear some real amp sounds. Alright, guys, by the way, real quick before we jump in, I'm going to be using my Caitlin Bread Sabracadabra for this. Nothing else. And the neck pickup on the SG. Nothing else. And just for fun, here's the Snowblind solo with no backing track or anything, just for fun. Alright guys, this has been Groovy Grass. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, turn on notifications, share this video with your grandma so we can bring doom to the world. You've been great. I'll see you next time. Groovy Grass out. Peace.
Groovy.